All right, can you guys see my screen? Okay, it's all full screen, everything looks great.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a little bit different presentation than one I did this morning. So if I go in a little out of order, please excuse me, but I really want this to be interactive. So if you do have questions, please interrupt. You can wait till the end as well, either way. I think this is super important for what you guys do, and hopefully I can give you as much information because I can talk for quite some time. I always like to start off with kind of this statement. We're standing on the doorstep of one of the biggest hardware and software transitions the world has ever seen. And right now, the entire world is built on web infrastructure. If you think of hotels and airports and hospitals and every company imaginable, the Walmarts of the world, we run on web infrastructure. And that's all based on standards that were created a long time ago. And if you think about it, the internet started with walled garden platforms like AOL and Prodigy. And it was their sole job to keep everyone within their platform, if you will. And it wasn't until someone invented the web browser that we actually created the standards that we enjoy today, along with actually creating what is called the World Wide Web. And those standards are really important because it allowed every company, every individual, and every university to help build those standards, whether it's tools like WordPress and Squarespace and Wix and Canva, or if it's building standards on how to build and deploy your web server and your websites. And you have governing bodies like the W3C that have really created this massive ecosystem that we've enjoyed, both in the educational system and in work and play and everything imaginable. And if you move to XR, there really is no general open standards that exist today. There's a lot of wall garden companies that are racing to build a closed ecosystem. Most universities and enterprises are forced to build inside of a closed ecosystem, which they've proven that they don't want to. I think they are really excited about this transition about to happen, but there's a lot of challenges that have happened in the industry that really are pretty evident that we don't have an open ecosystem. One is the HoloLens. A lot of enterprises and a lot of schools have spent millions of dollars and hours upon hours to build a massive ecosystem within their enterprise to actually use XR technology like HoloLens. And this was an amazing step for a lot of enterprises. But when Microsoft decided to cut and close out the HoloLens, all these companies lost their ecosystem. It wasn't like it could transfer over to another device or the software can move over. So it was basically built in a closed ecosystem. They lost millions of dollars of time and energy that went into building this. And we actually went to the Augmented Enterprise Summit and met with a lot of the Fortune 500 companies, and they all agreed. It was funny, one after another said, we're not going to have another HoloLens moment. We can't build our spatial infrastructure until we know that they're not going to have device lock-in and we're not going to have software lock-in. And the same thing happened with all these other companies that you're very familiar with. Niantic bought Eighth Wall, and then they decided to close it down. So anything you built in AR was shut down along with that. And I think they're doing some things to try to extend it. But really, I'm trying to make the point that there's really no standard tooling in open ecosystem for people to actually build XR experience, whether it's virtual reality or the future of AR and AR glasses. Same thing with Ready Player Me. Netflix obviously bought them, and by the end of January, they're going to shut down anyone that's using their avatar system. And we all probably, near and dear to our hearts, Altspace VR. You built for it, you built inside of it, they closed it down, and you lost everything. And so the whole purpose of building open standards is that it enables everyone to start building for a future that they know if they build something, someone will be able to find that content. People, if you don't have the tools you need, someone can build them. You're not beholden on any one company to solve all of those problems. And it really has locked a lot of people out from participating. I think creators are really stuck in doing some type of UGC and they make very small, 10 cents on the dollar. No one can really build tools for Horizon or Roblox or any of these platforms that we know today. You're stuck in their ecosystem. In fact, Meta, has been in the news quite often right now. And, they created a closed ecosystem. They felt the Metaverse was a gaming console. And when you sell gaming console numbers, it's not as big as what the billions of dollars that they're investing. And I think they really didn't understand holistically where everything is heading. And I think if we can think about the next big impact, it's going to be the future of AR glasses. It does have the ability to eventually replace mobile devices. That's why there is a race to build true AR glasses across 6 to 7 of the top tech companies, because even Apple knows that there's a threat to their big kind of kingdom around the iPhone, right? If someone were to create a magical, um, AR glasses, it's going to replace kind of what happens and how we run in the world. And let's take a moment to like think about the future. We're going to wear AR glasses and we're going to be able to walk down the street, or I'll go into an airport and I'll instantly connect to services that exist all over the world. And these services is really what's going to power the spatial internet. And let me describe services. Services are going to be a piece of software that you instantly connect to and can interact with, whether that's AI companions or NPCs that help me navigate Walmart to find different things within their store, whether that's also running the store, employees having services that help move product from shipping into the warehouse onto the actual shelves, whether that's an airport, someone greeting you and helping you drop off your bags, showing you how to find the gates, and actually asking if you want to buy a hamburger and have it ready for you because you're going to be passing by that restaurant. Those are all going to be different services that you interact with. But it's also going to be service that employees wear AR glasses. They'll know where to stand on the tarmac. It'll tell them how to do things so they make less mistakes and make it a whole lot easier to run operations. And so when I say we're on the biggest transition that's going to happen, is everyone's going to be moving from this web 2D infrastructure to 3D spatial infrastructure. And you're going to need new devices like the AR glasses or VR headsets to make that all possible. And really, where we bridge VR and AR is that imagine if I'm in AR in my own house, connected to different services, and someone in VR can go to that same XYZ coordinate space and instantly connect with me and we can interact. And the reason why this is really powerful for universities is let's walk through how this is going to affect universities. Universities will be able to build a digital twin of their entire campus. Imagine now if someone walks onto campus, they can instantly connect through a browser and an AI that can take me on a tour, whether I'm a guest, or help students actually find a classroom in real time with no installs whatsoever. Or if I go near the library, there could be a service that helps me find a library book. And I tell it what book I'm looking for, and it draws a digital line in the physical air on exactly where that book is located. Or even walking near a vending machine or the cafeteria and instantly deducting fees to buy different foods and whatnot. The whole university will eventually be powered by these services. And to take it even a step further, imagine anyone in the world can join a real live class via VR or desktop or mobile, and all of those classroom people will have AR glasses, be able to instantly see them in interact with anybody around the world. And the professor will be able to build any service imaginable, or anyone will be able to service that a professor can grab and instantly drop it in that space, whether it's dissecting a frog or anything imaginable that you'd want to teach. It's going to allow us to connect with people in ways that the 2D websites can't accomplish. And so if you think about the metaverse, I use the term as a metaverse as really a parallel to the World Wide Web. And we created this kind of triangle to make it super clear. You have devices that connect to a web browser, that connect to the World Wide Web that sits on the internet. And you have all those devices plus new ones that connect to a metaverse browser that connects to an open metaverse that sits on top of the spatial internet. And so, yeah, we are kind of reclaiming the metaverse term. I think we all could agree, if you really agreed on the bigger term, what the metaverse is, that Meta and all these other companies are using the term for their own purposes. It's really not what it was. It's really the extension of the World Wide Web. And I think there's a lot of governing bodies that would agree with that terminology. So it's always good to really have a shared definition so we know what we're talking about. And so the metaverse is what we see through the spatial internet as viewed through a metaverse browser. And so metaverse browsers require new architecture. And there's a couple reasons why. Number one is the current web stack is not designed to be proximity based. And it's also not designed to connect to multiple services in the same scene. And what I mean by that is I'm walking around with AR glasses. I'm going to have many different services that I'm connecting to, whether it's my personal AI or a digital pet or overlays like Yelp. But I'm also, as I'm walking into Walmart, I'm going to connect to a service. As soon as I walk out of Walmart and I walk into Starbucks, I'm going to connect to their AR services that I instantly connect to and go anywhere in the world. And so for that to happen, you're actually removing what we call the application box. There's no more building an application that you have to ship, you have to download, you have to install and create an account just to get that one experience. A metaverse browser makes it as seamless as what a web browser does for websites. It's going to connect spatial content that's geospatially located that we can instantly connect to. And on top of that, it can connect the world to that content as well, whether remote or in real life. And so it's a new breed of browser that really focuses on these proximity-based experiences and assets that are 3D based, much different than the 2D experiences that we have on the World Wide Web. And the current web, if you think about it, and I don't want to get overly technical unless you have direct questions, but DOM and iframes were not really designed for the 3D proximity content. And so there's a lot of the web stack that we can still use. So it's not like we're throwing out everything, but the HTML aspect of the entire web browser is not designed for the future of the metaverse. And that's where RP1 comes into play. And so web infrastructure must be entirely replaced with metaverse infrastructure. And this is where, we're going to build new servers. We're going to need a metaverse server equivalent to a web server. We're going to need what is called a spatial fabric. And the spatial fabric is really the equivalent of a website. It allows you to put your 3D assets, own all your assets. So in that example I gave you at the university, and by the way, we are working with a lot of universities right now, and they are beyond excited on what we're doing and want to participate and help building these standards because it's their web moment, right? It's the moment that now they can actually contribute to an open standard and open ecosystems without needing the permission of any one company, which is extremely powerful. And so the spatial fabric is really a fancy term for a maps, system on your own metaverse server, excuse me, that will allow you to build, let's say, a digital twin. So if we're talking about a university, that digital twin would sit on top of your spatial fabric where you own all the assets, all the information, just like you own your web infrastructure. And that's really important to hear because we've met already with a lot of universities. They're like, we can't put a digital twin in our student data on inside of a platform. It's a non-negotiable. Now we have to be able to own that data. We have to be able to own those assets. But yet we need an open ecosystem to connect that. And that's the part that doesn't exist. And that's where the Metaverse browser really shines. And so this spatial fabric allows you to create your own 3D implementation, but you can also anchor any service built by anyone in the world. So if you're going to want to bring in NPC services or you're going to build all the services that I described earlier, those are things that the university can build, third parties can build, and you can pick and choose them just like plugins for websites. And you would anchor those on your spatial fabric. And the job of a metaverse browser is quite simple. It has a combination of it needs a VPS system, it needs a rendering engine, it needs to be able to connect to one or many spatial fabrics instantly and enable you to traverse from one spatial fabric to another as simply as you move from one website to another in a single browser, a Chrome browser. And so the only difference is we have avatars and we have 3D information that enables us to navigate. And so that adds that layer of necessity of services that are needed. If you think about it, like here's an example of walking down the street. This was actually taken off a video. I forgot the name. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's called, it's actually more a dystopian view, but I think there was a good freeze frame. But as you're walking down the street, each and every one of these stores need to be able to own their own spatial fabric at these locations. And what RP1 has produced is one of the first one-to-one scale of our entire solar system universal map system. And it includes a one-to-one scale of planet Earth. So you can literally walk around the entire planet, fly, walk, teleport, fly straight up into space. It is literally the first contiguous map that can connect the world, meaning the population, in real time along this massive map. And the whole purpose of having a one-to-one scale of planet Earth, it's not a game. So only your university would own that XYZ coordinate space in the universal map system. It's going to help power the future of all AR so that you can seamlessly connect to different things owned by different people throughout the world. Think of it as like almost like ICANN for websites, but more for 3D spaces. And for people that don't want to build digital twins or things that have to do with an exact replication in the real world, we have unlimited map system outside of our solar system to build anything and everything you can possibly imagine, including we actually have building a digital twin of the Star Wars galaxy. And that's a one-to-one scale. And so you will be, and we're hopefully going to work with Disney to really create that. But they would have literally one-to-one scale of every planet, including Tatooine, and you'd be able to instantly go there on the Metaverse browser and interact, and Disney would own the experience that take place. Or I can instantly leave Tatooine and busy having fun with Monica, so I saw you clapping, and I have a class to take. So now I go off to Stanford University to their digital twin, and I go to the right classroom, and I'm instantly going to show up for a class that I can easily experience. And so it's just as seamless as how a web browser would work, but for the metaverse. And so if you walk with this example on the left, each of these XYZ coordinate spaces would be owned and operated by the people that own that space. So if I'm a landlord, I would have access. If I lease that space, it would automatically be given to the owners of that lease, and they would be able to take ownership of any digital experiences that happen in that space. Um, and so the open ecosystem is extremely important. There's a lot of non-negotiables for this open ecosystem. One, it has to be no device lock-in. So if it works on one device, it works for all. This is important for every single person participating in that ecosystem, including AR glass manufacturers. Most AR glass manufacturers, if you want a competitive ecosystem, they don't have the ability to compete with billions of dollars that Meta is building around their AR glasses. And the last thing anyone's going to want is that same HoloLens moment where I'm locked into a Meta ecosystem. I have to pay their taxes, they have to own my data, and whatever other things that I have to give up by going into their ecosystem. By creating an open metaverse browser, now anyone can compete with those types of glasses, and you have a competitive landscape where schools are not confined to any one company. You can pick and choose the devices you use, and you know that if you build for one device, it works for all. And so that goes with the no software lock-in. And of course, as I mentioned, you have to be able to own all your data, your revenue, and securitize all of your assets just like you would your web infrastructure. And so this is really important. And so you think the institutional ownership is there, the interoperability is extremely important in what we're pushing out. And these are really what's going to push, I believe, the XR industry to a global scale. And so we really believe that universities will be the big mainstream of defining the open spatial standards. And we are working with the Metaverse Standards Forums. We actually created not only the world's first Metaverse browser, but the standards around what a Metaverse server and a spatial fabric look like. We've also created what is called NSO, which is a real-time API. I shouldn't say real time. It is for real time and non-real time applications. But what this does is let's imagine you build a game of chess or you build an AI solution. It enables someone to be able to take your software without seeing how your software works and instantly connect it on a spatial fabric. So it securitizes each of those pieces of software and makes it seamless for you to grab any piece of software and instantly use it. So imagine right now we're at Monica's house and we're all hanging out there, but I couldn't show up. And I show up in VR and you guys are all wearing your AR glasses and we want to have chess nights on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Monica will be able to grab that chessboard on the open marketplace, pay whatever those fees, or maybe it's, an open source project, and you drop that chessboard on the table and it instantly works for all of us. And we can demo something like that today. We actually have, like I said, a true one-to-one scale map system. You can now today with the global prototype, you can build your own metaverse server and your spatial fabric, and you can connect it to RP1. And here's where RP1 stands in this open ecosystem. Once we build a native browser, a native reference implementation of a native browser, that will be an open standard that anyone can use. RP1 actually becomes a service provider. And so when you build your spatial fabric of your university or any project that a student may want to build, you have the choice to connect it to RP1's primary spatial fabric that will provide the scale and the services needed to make it work. Because as you know, it's extremely costly to scale your applications. In VR, you get 20 plus people. It is not the greatest experience and it's really hard. We have solved that. We have solved a software solution that can scale to the world's population on 1,000 times less compute. You can literally have thousands upon thousands of people on your spatial fabric with no hiccup in XR, in VR, and desktop or mobile. No more restrictions on the number of users that you can have on your spatial fabric by connecting it to RP1. And so that is all demoable today. We have an amazing, we can maybe set up something where I can do a one-on-one with all of you guys at another meeting where we can take you on a full live demo where you can put your headsets on with a click of a button. Not to confuse anything, we are currently, our prototype is a browser and a browser. We are using WebXR. Again, WebXR, we're pushing to the max as far as visuals and also having test services running in that environment. But we are right now working extremely hard to actually build the first native browser under the Metaverse Standards Forum and get the backing of a lot of major companies, which is all taking place as we speak. In fact, that's what I had this morning. So we had a major presentation for all the big companies that are all extremely interested in what we're doing because we're the only company in the world that are actually pushing these standards and trying to unify the entire XR industry. And so you can easily go to rp1.com. You can click the enter button. You open up your Quest 3 or desktop or mobile, and you literally can go inside with one click, pick a guest or member, and you're instantly inside. We have, like I said, a digital twin of planet Earth. We have about 80% of OpenStreetMap data And your university today can claim the XYZ coordinate space on planet Earth, build out your own spatial fabric, attach it to RP1, and instantly, if someone goes to that location, they will start streaming your assets. And we actually have Rowan University, who's building a digital twin out of New Jersey. We just met with the University of Miami, who are absolutely jaw dropped on what we're doing, and they're excited. In fact, actually, Maxwell, you actually had some really neat ideas where there's opportunities for grants and different things where you can unify. And so this is an opportunity to go to major companies that you may have relationship with and say, hey, we want to be the best university. We want to start creating standards. We're going to need money for research dollars and all these things towards the first set of standards for the entire spatial internet and the open metaverse. And so this is going to hopefully help unify everyone to be able to participate and have an equal ability to start building tools. You have to start converting Unity and Unreal assets and Blender assets to work for the open metaverse, which is more streamable content. So it can't be in one big 20 gigabyte file. And so there are definitely standards that you need to comply for streamable assets and services. And those are all on our website and our own wiki page. You go to wiki.rp1.com. And in fact, a crazy thing I can give you, we have a company called Patch Reality. 3 weeks ago, they understood these are the open standards and they built the first map editing tool for developers, where you literally can go to any location in the open metaverse and literally find the public data on those map systems. And it is extraordinary. And this was only built in 3 weeks. Imagine the next 3 weeks. We already have students that are building tools to build and deploy to a spatial fabric. We had other students that are starting to build videos on how to build a metaverse server and how to build a spatial fabric. I mean, this is an invitation for literally all students, teachers, universities, and companies to participate. And we're just helping drive what those standards look like. So I want to open this up to Q&A. There's a lot of information I just shared. I probably can go on and on about these standards. Again, we have a lot of information on our website at rp1.com/learn, and I'm happy to provide other details. But I would love to open this up to everyone because this, again, is for you guys. I mean, I truly believe that the universities will drive the open standards, and I would love for you guys to be able to participate in any way possible. So any questions, feel free. I see a lot on the chat, so let me maybe go to chat, or you tell me on how you want me to go through the questions and stuff.
It looks like people are raising their hands, and we've got some in chat, so maybe we'll just sift through these before we move over and check out RP1.
Cool. Monica, do you want to call everyone in order, or however you know the
Sure. Sage, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thanks.
And
This
if
is
people could raise their
amazing.
hands, maybe that's the easier way to do this. Excuse me.
Perfect. Hey, Sage.
Yeah, hey Sean. Thanks, David, for answering my questions in the chat. This is really exciting. I think I share a lot of the same excitement. I felt the same way when WebXR came out. I was like, oh, this is going to be welcome to the 3D web. Spatial is here, and then COVID stopped, and COVID ended, and the interest curve went down. But so I'm really excited to see this moving forward. I did jump into RP1 when I saw the newsletter come out, and I was like, wow, this is cool. But here's one of the biggest problems we have in
Tell me.
education, and the word is meta. We
Yep.
don't like Meta. They're
Yep.
a bad company. That's a bad CEO. They're bad for the world. And, so, but we have to use their technology. And that's a fundamental issue. So even though we have this open web experience, we're still having to log into Meta, use their headset, go through their browser. And yes, I know that we could open up on our desktops a Meta
What
browser,
did you?
but that's not the same immersive experience, right? Although it's funny how most people seem to gravitate towards a semi-immersive experience.
Yep.
But anyway, is there any way that do you see in the future like RP1 or like some sort of open source hardware?
So yeah, yeah. So without a doubt. So first of all, we do work on Meta's equipment. So you can open up a MetaQuest browser, go to rp1.com, and instantly go in full immersive mode. And we actually have a private AR demo that we can do for you guys at another date. We have a special link that we give you to show you how the AR side things work. When I say you click a button, you can go to in an RP1 and it'll put you in kind of start. And this is just in the beginning. It's kind of like when you built the first browser, you had to create like 4 sample websites so people even understood what a website is and how it works with the browser. So we created some sample locations, but eventually those will go away. It's going to be just the locations that are built by the world, and we don't have to train the world or tell them what this is and how it works. Because you would think that it would be an easy jump coming from the web ecosystem, but for some reason it's still a stretch for people to really understand the layers that we're describing. So it's taken some time to get excuse me, to get
Bless you.
caught up. But you can, thank you. You can use the Quest browser today. And in fact, this should be a way for you to unite and tell Meta, we need this open ecosystem RP1's
Mhm.
talking about, number one. Number two is what I'm talking about actually opens up competition for these devices. So we're starting to get involved with Pico. We met with probably about 50 AR glass manufacturers at CES, and all of them said the same thing. We don't have billions of dollars to create a software ecosystem. And so the browser actually helps democratize eventually good competition within the hardware space where you're not locked into a Meta. In fact, I think Meta, if they listen to us, we actually created a video at rp1.com/learn, and I know David will throw that in the chat, but we have a video on top there that is actually a call to Meta saying, stop being so silly. Build an open ecosystem, and you'll sell billions of headsets and devices way faster than everybody else. And you also have the ability to start creating the standards for this open ecosystem. And so they're going to have to figure out, are they going to be the AOL? And they may have a head start, but eventually there's no way Meta can compete with everyone building for an open ecosystem. And AOL learned that. They were the Meta of the early web days. They were massive, multi-billion dollars. Everyone's like, this company has never. And 6 years later, once all the world, the universities, the students could contribute and build tools, it was impossible for them to keep up. And I believe that is exactly what's going to happen with the Metaverse Browser initiative. And so I'm hopeful that this will actually unify devices. And I believe a lot of manufacturers that we've already met with are saying this is their way to actually compete against Meta, and it will help actually unify the industry. So those are great comments, Sage, but this all works with current devices. Obviously, we're a small company, so if there are some bugs in different devices, we don't have a way to QA. We don't have a QA department, let's put it that way. It's pretty much all of the engineers cutting it. But what we pulled off, Meta cannot do. We can have 100,000 concurrent users using less than 30 computers from any device, and we can scale that to 1 billion users. There's no company that can do that, especially with 1,000 times less compute, with full spatial audio and 6 stop. The spatial audio will blow your minds away, I promise you. You go into Horizon and you talk, you almost have to do walkie-talkie because it's almost like you talk over each other and you can't hear it. Ours is as natural as audio. We're actually doing server-side audio with our scaling technology. In fact, you can customize the audio a million different ways. The demo, when I take you through, like I took a university through there with their top professors, when they were done, they were like, holy crud, this is better than any platform we've ever seen in our lives. And we get full ownership and we can start building what we dream about that the university wouldn't allow us to do. And so this was like that aha moment for them. And I'm hopeful that I can share that with you guys as well. Because I think once you go through the demo, look at the technical document and get involved, you'll realize how big of a movement that we're talking about.
Okay, it looks like there, excuse me, there's a couple more questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So around standards for issues like occlusion or avatars, are those blooming or something you expect the uni system to also contribute to?
Yeah. So the neat thing about working with the Metaverse Standard Forum, so we're working actually with Neil Trevett, who is he's a VP at NVIDIA. He's the entire president and founder of the Kronos Group and also the president and founder of the Metaverse Standards Forum. It took us about 2 years to get to the point we are with Neil. And Neil is absolutely not only blown away by what we're doing, but to quote the Mandalorian, he's like, this is the way. And I don't know if you guys are Mandalorian fans, but it's a little quote there. But he absolutely is blown away by how this can unify the XR industry because he understands standards better than just about anyone in the world, and he realizes the predicament that the XR industry is in, including the Metaverse Standards Forum. And so he sees this as a launching pad for bringing all XR open standards. So we're not trying to reinvent everything. I mean, there's a handful of things that need to be reinvented to do this right, but we're going to use GLTF. We're going to use a lot of the 3D standards that exist today. We're going to look to partner with NVIDIA using USD as a scene editor, and then you'll deploy it with GLTF that streams a lot better for streamability. You're going to use WASM and JavaScript and all the standards that we enjoy today. So it's not reinventing the entire thing. And a lot of times the first questions we get is like, well, can we use Unity? Can we use Unreal? Well, those are pre-compiled application gaming systems. They're monolithic and they're not designed for streamable assets. So it's not that we don't want to work with them. It's just they're not designed. So I'm hopeful that they'll jump on the bandwagon and say, we'll build Unity-like tools for building your spatial fabric. And this will be eventually either an invitation for old companies to create new channels of tooling, or it'll be an amazing opportunity for students, PhD students, teachers, and universities to start building the tooling that everyone going to need to build out these spatial fabrics. And so this is kind of that California gold rush where we're setting the standards and inviting everyone, and the early adopters are really going to be the ones that help set the stage. And so that's kind of the goal of the project. So hopefully I answered that question. Anything else? Please ask anything. I'm a fully open book. I promise. I'm happy to answer anything you guys because it's important to be open when you're building the types of standards that we're doing.
So it looks like, yes, it's open standard, so it will run on anything. So our Steam VR question was answered. Let's
Well,
see what.
Steam VR, let's bring this up. So right now, just so we're clear, we are WebXR. We are using WebXR as a global prototype. So I want to warn you, the graphics are as good as what WebXR can do. You're limited to the caching and the memory of WebXR. You're limited to a handful of things, and you're also limited on the services. So this is not a full-blown, everyone can start building for truly all of the standards. Right now, this is a global prototype you can start building today, and we are going to start building the native version of that prototype with VPS system and all the pieces necessary. This will unlock the visual fidelity and also enable that whole open services system that we were talking about, where everyone can build a service. But those APIs are going to be completely open with Apache 2 license. All these technologies are going to be completely open and standardized, and so that the university can start using those APIs to build services, so that when the native browser is built, they can instantly start injecting them and anchor them on their spatial fabrics. And so everything can start today for tomorrow.
Okay, and a really critical question for all of us. Where
Mhm.
are you folks at with accessibility to WCAG 2.1 AA standards, which are required of all of us as of April 2026?
Yep. So I'm not an expert in accessibility. I understand the importance and the great news I have is that we don't have to build it. Those are going to be services. These are going to be services built by the world. They're going to understand the different needs for different people, whether it's for the blind or hearing or all these different things that we have to deal with. You're going to build services that help us navigate the real world through these devices. And that's not going to be beholden just on a browser. It's going to be beholden on the industry to build the different services needed to help these different individuals. And I think a lot of those things also are going to be, some things will have to be built into the browser. And I think that is a line item that we do have in building out the native version of what we're talking about. And that's where, you join the Metaverse Standard Forum once this is a thing. They're voting in February, so hopefully everything's going to go really well. But you'll be able to actually, join and say, hey, look, we would love to see something like this. But most of these things are going to be modularized where people will be able to add these things to the open standards. And so that's what's important about open standards. You don't have to rely on a company to say, we will build it all for you. It has an opportunity where everyone can join and build out what they think is needed. But man, AR glasses for a use case for the blind is going to be unbelievable. Walking around with AR glasses and having an AI agent that tells you exactly where you're standing to the millimeter and helps you navigate the real world is going to be special. And don't think we have to wait on Meta to build all of that. You build an open metaverse browser, you're going to see lots of amazing companies with that expertise that they can start building, know it's going to work on devices, and don't have to worry about their project being defunct because the standards change. And so that's why, and it's actually proof points on why we need what we're talking about. And we just happen to be, and I knock every day. I'm like, I can't believe we're introducing the first set of standards for the spatial internet. It's a pretty crazy moment, but our team has worked really, really hard over the last 4 years. I can tell you a whole nother story, but I don't want to do a deep dive. I can tell you how we got here. I mean, it's crazy on how we start with amazing scaling technology and realize that we're actually building the construct of the first browser and realize the technology is needed, and we went full bore into the entire standards side. And it's been an amazing journey since. But next question, please, ask away.
I think this is an excellent moment to pause and give everyone a taste of this. We've gotten all this excitement going on. And I want to say for everyone, again, remember that this is a prototype running on the web stack. And it's also a bit rudimentarily graphically early. So just to sort of manage expectations here, this is what we're going to
Well, you
go ahead.
set the bar so low. We're gonna knock it out of the park on
I
that
just,
statement right there. Like I'm
yeah,
telling
we
you, when
are
people
coming
come in,
from.
they're like, "This is actually pretty badass." Excuse my expression, but I do agree it's not at the Unreal level. So it's definitely WebXR. So you guys are, I'm assuming, all familiar with WebXR and the limitations. But I want you to know that as soon as the native browser is built and you have all the local resources, the local GPU, and your device is going to make you're going to have a LOD system that allows you to have all different levels of visual fidelity, and it's going to be spectacular. But I do believe we'll still knock your socks off with some of the graphics in there. But it is WebXR limited, so I do agree with you, Monica. I want more too, so I promise.
Excellent. We're just going to make sure that everybody understands the level that we're at and where we're
Yep.
going, which is
Yep.
really unlimited physics. Think of it that way.
Well, the good thing is we can all jump in if you want to. I don't know if you guys have VR headsets available. You can whip out your Quest 3, literally go to rp1.com, click enter, hit guest, put your name in, you're in. And all of us will have full spatial audio, full 6 DoF. If some of you want to come on desktop, you're welcome to. We'll walk you through the controls. It's not very difficult. And you'll actually connect to third-party services instantly. You'll be able to control a light bulb in our developer's house. So this is eventually the future of services for like Samsung and your washing machines and your lights and everything imaginable. We have the ability to connect to an instant streaming service where you can control a movie. You can actually control a spaceship, and that's actually just using the dimmer switch service as a way to move things in world. And eventually, there's going to be thousands upon thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of services that will help you actually make the metaverse come alive. And that's what the browser naturally does. And it doesn't matter where you guys are located in the world, it all just works. So I'm happy to take you guys in. How many people do have a VR headset handy or are able to use it?
I'll be desktop this morning. Mine's charging.
Okay, no worries. Anyone else desktop or all coming in desktop? It's okay. I mean,
That looks like most desktop, but sorry, if I would have known, I would have brought my headset today. Hey, quick question, Sean.
yep.
When I was in RP1, couldn't figure out how to switch to a third person point of view. Is there a way to do that?
Using which device? Oh, a third person. So we don't have that. So
Okay.
please excuse, we are a small team. There's a lot of features. In fact, it's easy for us to go ahead and add where you can take the desktop a camera and we can drop that into the avatar instantly. We can track all facial expressions, including blinking, smiling. We can do all 10 fingers separately. In fact, when you go in VR, if you press the buttons, you can press them really slowly and you'll see actually the hands move in real time. And so we're ready for whatever devices can give you more input on your reactions, including, it could be Vest and all these other different devices. We're input agnostic, and so they can bring it in. The services are there. We do have the Plaza, which has a whole bunch of bots running around. We have about 1,000 bots running around. They're all running off of a completely separate server, I promise you. And they're logging in just like you log in. They have full-time audio and also full-time 6 DoF movement to show you that we can easily handle the scale that we're talking about. Meta can like do 2030, as you guys all know. And we literally, I think we had an opening event a couple months ago. We had about 350 people show up, and it didn't, obviously you will see if you're on a Quest 3, you'll see about 250 people, but as you move around, it instantly connects you to the 250. So if you lined up 100,000 people, you literally can handshake all 100,000 people. It's just depending on how powerful your device is, on how many users you can actually see. But the good thing is, if you did a concert with 100,000 people, you can do a parametric movements. And then as you teleport or move, you instantly convert them to real people because they are actually real people. And so we actually have a full LOD system. So the people that are further away get less updates. People that are near you get the full updates. It works really, really, really neat. The other thing also, we have built-in features. You can actually build free meeting spaces just like you do Zoom. So if you guys are all XR, you no longer have to do Zoom. You can literally create the same link that you do through Zoom. Give that link out. People go early. It'll show the meeting hasn't started yet. And once the meeting starts, you instantly are put into a room with all the people, and you can do upwards of 250 people in that meeting, and you can do as many as you want completely for free. You can build your spatial fabric for free. Everything, there's no cost. Down the road, RP1 will charge a very nominal fee if you attach us for the services. But remember, we're doing it with 1,000 times less compute than any other technology. So we can be a lot cheaper than anybody in the world. Oh, yeah. So you can do a share screen. That's awesome. If you want to do that, we can just do that. If you want, you can move over to the right. Go to the right. David, yeah, there you go. Go straight ahead. So see that light switch right there? You go right in front of the light switch. And right there on their left, kind of turn a little bit. And so that's actually a real-time service. You're actually connecting to a dimmer switch service running off of a separate server in the world. Think about this. You're in a browser. You're all different places from different devices, and just by walking near the service, you instantly see a persistent service. You can control the VR. So if you go in VR and move it left and right, you can see the light changing. You're gonna have to trust me on this. We do have a light bulb in our developer in the UK. So if you actually move that physical light, you're actually pissing them off later at night and moving that light. I kid you not. And then the one in the middle is actually controlling a web light. And but it's persistent for everyone. So if all of you were in world right now, you would persistently see each other moving it completely. And if you don't believe me, on the right side right there, there's a Google search that you can go to. And so on the right, you can actually move over to the Google search, and that is connecting to a Google search API using our API solution. And so it's persistent for everyone. We'll see you typing, we'll see you interacting, you'll see the return. Everyone will be persistent to that service. Um, if you now go all the way to the left, stage right, or to your left where you're looking right now. And Monica, is this you sharing your screen, by the way?
No, that's Maria.
Oh, Maria, perfect. So Maria, if you can go to stage right or to your left if you're looking at the stage. Stage right means that you're looking from the stage outward. So go the opposite direction. Yeah, turn around. Go follow David. David will take you. Just follow David. He's going to walk you to the left. Yeah. And so you're on literally a smidget location on planet Earth. When I am not joking, you literally can fly straight up and you will enter space and see Earth. But go straight ahead. There's a movie over there. Yeah, yeah, you were going the right way. Turn around. There you go. Just head over to that movie. That is running off of Wowza, which is a third-party streaming service. The browser knows that there is a streaming service and you are instantly connecting to it. And by the way, anyone can control the volume. They can control the start, the pause, the loop, and instantly everyone will see the movie start and it's persistent for everyone involved with that application. It is absolutely amazing what this browser is doing. So imagine this is an NPC character built by a third-party company. Imagine this is someone that takes kids on tours at your campus. This could literally be any piece of service that you develop that you can anchor on your spatial fabric and your digital twin, and people will instantly be able to connect to it from any device using the open Metaverse browser. And we also took that dimmer switch. It was funny because one of our developers was like, well, can I move an item in world using the dimmer switch? And if you turn around completely 180, just do completely turn around 180, and you're going to head to the spaceship. And this is really cool because you're going to see this all in real time. To the right, keep turning, go slowly, and right there, go straight ahead and just fly over. If you look up, you can fly over that or walk around it. It's up to you. If you just look up and press forward, there you go. Now you're flying. See that spaceship in yonder? Go over to that spaceship. If you look up, just fly a little higher if you want. There you go. And then go down to the spaceship and go down to that green thing on the bottom of the spaceship. And go ahead and control it. Anyone control this right now. Use the force and see what happens. Oh, it moves up and everyone sees it. Go ahead and turn the volume on. This is the same dimmer switch, but we're using it to actually move things. And these are all primitives. These are all simple things. Think about the early plugin days, but this could be literally PayPal or Venmo or a chessboard with full chess logic. It could be literally any service built by any individual or company or university in the world, and everyone instantly connects to it. And so if you want to go to a different location, so if you look at the sound, go and hit the mute button, the little arrow next to the mute button on your top left. And I want everyone to see this. So no, not the mute button, but the arrow right next to it, please. Perfect. So see normal meetings and crowds. It changes your audio setting, full spatial audio, so you can hear far away or close, or you don't want to hear behind you. You want the drop off to be closer. But go ahead and hit that little crayon, yep, or the pencil. You can literally customize millions of different presets. So imagine if you had a TED Talks and you want everyone to be focused on the center, you can change how far the drop off is behind you, in front of you, to the side. Go ahead and hit the edit button if you want, because that'll be a good way. So go ahead and edit and look at all this. Pivot distance, distance boost, distance drop off, focus angle. Look at the focus angle and go ahead and toggle it. And you'll see you can see 180 and you can just move it to the left. You can see how I don't even hear behind you. You can focus on literally just in front of you so you don't get any noise behind you. It is the spatial audio will blow you guys away. I don't believe there's any spatial audio. This is not WebRTC. This is not a current solution. This is literally using our special technology that can scale hundreds of thousands of audio tracks in real time. It's all server side mixed and it all happens 60 times per second. And so if anyone were to teleport or come near you, you would instantly see them. You can add friends, you can teleport and summons people. You have full features. Now let's go to, we have OpenStreetMap data. You can go find your university and go to your city and put in the XYZ coordinate spaces and instantly find your plot. It'll be a box. It's nothing fancy, but you can take over that box and that eventually will be your digital twin. So if you want, go to the location on the top left, that right next to the mute button, There's a location. Yeah, go ahead and hit that location and let's go to a different location. Now I'm going to show you some cool stuff. So if you scroll, go to the lounge on the very bottom, the second to the bottom. And this is actually pretty darn good graphics for WebXR. So I'll show off a little bit. I want to say we did it, but it was a third party company that built it. They built it. Just hit go. Yeah, go ahead and go. And so it'll pop in a second. Probably takes a delay. There you go. And so you can look at the baked lighting. I mean, there's tricks of the trade as far as really taking advantage of WebXR. But here's an entire lounge built by somebody, and this lounge is running off of a separate server and a separate spatial fabric. It knows that you're near the spatial fabric, and you instantly streamed the assets just like as if you had a website. And anyone that's there, you instantly have spatial audio and full 6DoF. And if you hey David, go to the lounge, and I want you to show them the movement in VR with your hands. So go in the movement in front of Maria. I don't know if David, you can hear me or not. See if David pops in there. There he is. So go ahead and look at David's hand. David, move out a little bit away from the wall. You're at the bar. There you go. Now look at everyone. Look at his hands. He's going to press the buttons, but he's going to press them really, really, really slowly. This is not press a button and you get an animation. We are literally tracking the real time movements of his hands. And we can do that for his facial expressions and his body as well. That's all included in the stream. And if you want now, go to another location. If you go ahead and hit that location thing, I love it. You guys are so good with XR. This is like amazing. Sometimes it's like herding cats when you're doing these technologies, but it's you guys are like A plus, I promise you. And I know this for a fact. If you want, you can go to the plaza just to see the massive number of people, and you can play around with the audio. So go ahead and hit plaza, and we'll go there.
Hey, Sean, I got to bounce, but I thank you so much. This has been really amazing. Excited to learn more about it. So thank you. And thanks,
Yeah,
David.
I'm going to give you my email. I'm going to give you both my email, and also you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I promise to try to respond as quickly as possible. Please understand, I'm getting killed by, I'm literally, me and David are the only two dealing with the outside world. And so you can imagine what it looks like. But again, we're here to really, universities and these large enterprises are the most important thing. So please feel free to reach out if we can collaborate or get you guys, to start. We are looking to also, one last thing before you leave stage, we are looking to create, if you guys are up for it, like either a weekly or every 2 weeks, a time to actually meet in world just for educators. And so that's a time to ask questions, get information, ask technical questions, bring students there. We're happy to literally do this for you guys. We also have routine every Thursday at 10 a.m. We have in-world meeting at that stage that you guys all saw. You guys can all meet there. And we're there to either onboard new people about what's going on, but also answer questions for people that already know the spiel, but want to do deeper dives or have questions or bring students in. I'm also happy to do one-on-ones. We have full AR demo. I can show up in your office, your house with those services, and it instantly works using a Quest 3. And so it's pretty, and you could show up, I can show up in VR, you'll be in AR, and you'll see me moving and talking to you and instantly working with those services. It's pretty radical. So but thank you, Sage. I don't want to keep you on. I'm sorry. I, um, I'm running on fumes right now, you can tell, but I'm just
That's
excited to share with
fine.
you. Hopefully I'm not over energizing, but this is really cool. I
Right.
mean, I'm beyond excited on what's taking place in the industry right now.
It's 10 o'clock and we're folks with lots of back-to-back meetings, so I want to make sure that we take a pause and respect everyone's time here. And we are so grateful, Sean and David, for all the work that you folks are doing. And I, believe me, understand what the lift is in the early days of trying to get this off the ground. So we're also happy to try and get the word out and connect folks with you and maybe get some of those graduate students in our wider network
Yep.
interested in working on these issues.
And I thank you for that, Monica. And I want to offer something that goes to each and every one of you. If your university has a staff, an XR department, and you guys want a one-on-one tour, really to go through, because this is hard to convey a lot of this. I mean, there's a lot of reading materials you can share, but if they do want to meet up with us, I'm happy to set up times. And I don't care how many there are. I mean, this is what we're here for. And so I'm happy to take you on one-on-one tours, walk you through this, tell you the story. David is here to do that as well. So please reach out. I mean, we are here to support and get you guys jump started in this ecosystem. I'd rather see, and don't say this publicly, I'd rather see the university drive this much more than the enterprises, even though I know the enterprises have the money. But there's also a co-way to do this where you can bring the enterprises that can bring budgets to your school to be the premier of building these types of standards and tooling and whatnot. So there's a lot of opportunity for everyone. We can't help that. We can help by giving the information, but you guys obviously have to, kind of bring the university and your donors and stuff together and stuff. So, but we're here to help in any way we possibly can.
We thank you for that.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Hopefully, this was an exciting moment. I think it definitely is for me in seeing basically the basis of what we might be hopefully helping grow in the future. And with that, I think that's it for this month. And we will hopefully see you again next month. Maria, what do we have coming up next month?
It's still to be decided.
All
We are working
right.
on a schedule on that
We will
one.
be meeting
But
in
you will see it on the newsletter.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll add that it might be Todd Conaway, but I don't know who you also may have planned, Maria. So Todd will be speaking soon, either February or March, depending on what you have lined up.
Thank you so much for coming. That was a great presentation, and yeah, we will be in touch.
Hopefully, I
Thank you,
look forward to it.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone. And Monica, thank you really for spearheading this. You were amazing.
And it's
Yeah,
okay
absolutely.
if I record the whole session, so it's okay if we put this on our YouTube channel.
Man, you can put it on CNBC. I actually was just
Okay.
quoted on
All right.
CNBC. So put it, I mean, again, these are for the world. So you're welcome to share it with anyone that you like. In fact, it'd be great because then I don't have to say the same thing over and over again. So
Yeah.
please share it with the universities. That would make my life a lot
Yeah,
easier.
for sure. I will upload it later.
Perfect.
Thank
right.
you.
John, that was
Well,
awesome,
everybody,
John. Thanks for
Thank you.
Thank you. Could you share the video with us to the recording too, if you don't mind, Maria?
Yeah, for sure, I will.
That'd be
Yeah, it
amazing.
went really well. So.
Cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Bye.